Liverpool are the most slept on team in European football. As I look across all the top leagues in Europe at the moment and we're thinking about who should be at the top of the table, who's had the good fixture list, who's had the good form, and where is everyone's squad status at the moment, the job that Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp at the moment is not getting the love I think it deserves. Last summer, Jurgen Klopp came under a lot of fire for not getting the transfers right, and it feels like because he's trying to do this whole evolve the squad as he's still the manager, obviously, keep them competitive at the top level, you don't always control the outgoings, which has maybe hampered the incomings they've had. But this summer, I think he's absolutely knocked it out of the park. And with the fixtures they had at the beginning of the season, I think they're doing absolutely fantastic, and we're going to be looking at, in the video today, what's worked for Liverpool so far, how well they've done. We're then going to have a look at what is actually coming up for Liverpool and think about how well could they do between now and Christmas, and ultimately, over the course of the season, how special a year could this actually be for Liverpool. Like I say, they are kind of a work in progress in a few different areas, and I'll also be trying to think about, coming into the January window next summer, you know, is there any obvious missing pieces in this team? At any point in the video, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers, and we cannot do that without your support, guys. Stay out of trouble, and let's just get stuck into it. Now, Liverpool opened this season against Chelsea, and that is just where it begins. Obviously, we can see here the full fixture list that they've satisfied to this international break that we're recording at. The 1-1 draw away at Stamford Bridge was a pretty decent result to open the league. I remember watching it and remember it being quite boring. But then going on a really positive run of wins, you know, 3-1 there against Bournemouth with very much the exact same team that had played Chelsea the week before. Then going to Newcastle and getting a very big win there with a couple of key changes. Endo coming in for a start there as well. And obviously we remember the Van Dijk red card. A 3-0 victory against Aston Villa, who have been coming in for plenty of plaudits this season. Aston Villa have been fantastic. And as we start to scroll through these wins here, Aston Villa 3-1 away to Wolves, 3-1 away to Lask, 3-1 at home to West Ham. We start to see that Liverpool are really using a really big squad here. We're seeing lots of different names and faces coming into different positions to cover a really busy fixture list and basically keeping the exact same tactics and formation that we know Jurgen Klopp is always deployed. And the midfield acquisitions that they've had of Alexis Mac Allister and Dominic Szoboszlai have been massively important to this run of form that they've had. You know, this sequence of high-scoring wins, performances aside, when you look at it bird's eye view like this, I think it really does give you a good picture of the momentum and the, you know, the reps that this Liverpool team are getting. And Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool's all about scoring more goals than the other team, and it's all about getting the midfield to be able to play the balls into an attacking front three that can transition, put the defence on the back foot, and make their chances count. Now, the blemish here is the 2-1 loss to Tottenham. We won't talk about that for obvious reasons because, hey, that's old news at this point. But hey, that's the only blemish on this record. USG, a very formidable team in Europa League standings. Really strong team goes out there. We see Gravenberch get his first goal, and then we see the Brighton game at the weekend. I thought this was a really telling, and this is what made me really want to make the video, because watching that game, it does feel like there's still that clutch onus on Mohamed Salah. I think he's the only member of that team that still really has that Champions League final, you know, league winning, can come in clutch for you, like elite, world-class forward, creative, goal scorer, you know, playmaker, whatever you want to think of them as in any given team. But Salah, for me, if you take him out of the Liverpool team, I do feel that he is the last remaining distinctively different piece that Liverpool have in their favour. And subsequently, getting this draw against Brighton, I thought was a fantastic result, because not many teams will get that draw against Brighton. I thought Salah was great. I thought it was great team play overall for the result for Liverpool's end. Because although on the face of it, between Alexis Mac Allister and Szoboszlai, and even Harvey Elliott, who started this game, and then laterally Gravenberch, who I think a lot of people believe is going to come in and make this midfield position his own, there's not a definitive defensive ball-winning midfielder in here. And at first glance, you maybe think that's maybe where the imbalance is. There is no Fabinho type in there. It's all guys are a wee bit more attacking, but they are quite box to box. And Mac Allister, you can deploy him as a deep lying kind of playmaker type. But when you see the potential impact for someone like Gravenberch, who can also support the attack with third man runs, who's also got a fantastic range of passing to play in guys like Diaz, Darwin, and of course Salah, Mr. Clutch, like we were talking about. This, I think, gives much more credibility to those Liverpool fans that I've been hearing crying for Thiago to come back, or someone who can do the Thiago job on a permanent basis come into this midfield, and maybe that's what Gravenberch could potentially offer. Curtis Jones has played a good amount of minutes earlier on in the season, and I think you'll probably see him get minutes as the season pans on. And one of the great things about the Jurgen Klopp kind of system is that he's buying guys that fit directly into his tactics. He's not adapting, he's not having to work anything in. But because of the amount of different faces we're seeing come through in the squad that can play in this system, they can rotate between Thursdays and Sundays, different levels of opposition, manage their workload appropriately without there being too much of a drop in level. Because, again, just to further highlight, these results Liverpool have had so far in the league is against West Ham, Wolves, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea's a draw, of course, Brighton a draw as well. Formidable teams at the top end of the division with, like I say, a whole host of their squad contributing defence, midfield and up front. And if you look at Liverpool's direct rival over the last couple of years, Man City, and you think about the window they've had over the last 2 windows with like Grealish, Doku, Guardiola, they're just going out and getting definitive upgrade pieces. And I think that's maybe the stage Liverpool have got themselves into, so that when they come into the January window, maybe even next summer, they can really put big level up pieces into this squad and really kick it up a gear. But I do think that in that midfield spot, there is maybe still something to be discovered. Maybe you could get a wee bit more out of Alexis McAllister if he was put into that more creative role and you had a more of a Fabinho, more of a ball winner, kind of covering in the defence in that respect. But with how formidable the front three used to be at Liverpool and how formidable the midfield, whatever they build it with McAllister and Szoboszlai set to be the foundation pieces of it, I think we're going to get, in a season or two time, we're going to have a lot of Liverpool fans say things like, imagine Klopp's first forward line in defence with his second midfield, as it were, the post Henderson Milner midfield as it's evolving now with these guys. Because when you look at the actual statistics for Liverpool players this year, particularly in the defensive statistics, if we start with tackles won, Szoboszlai and McAllister, for not being defensive midfielders, have actually picked up 10 and 11 won tackles respectively. The only players that really outdo them is the actual defence itself. Curtis Jones is third in the team with 13, and Luis Diaz actually makes the top 5 with 11. And when it comes to actual possession won, they both rank in amongst the top 5. Accurate passes into the final third, Szoboszlai comes in 4th for the team, Alexis McAllister a bit further down, but still significant enough considering he's got 446 accurate passes alongside Dominic Szoboszlai's 440 accurate passes to this point. Because what Jurgen Klopp's midfield has never had, in my opinion, and I love Milner, Henderson worked, Wijnaldum was fine, Fabinho was fine, they've never had a world-class midfield, and guys that can operate at a world-class level of winning the ball, turning it over, and playing accurate balls into a Jurgen Klopp front three of counter-attack death, then I think Liverpool could hit some fantastic heights going forward. And Liverpool's fixtures after the international break aren't like amazing. It starts off with a Merseyside derby before they've got some games in the EFL and the league sandwiched around Europa League doubleheader with Toulouse and a game with Luton. This should be a really good vein of form coming up, I would imagine, for Liverpool based on the points they've been able to carry so far. And with some of the early developments we've seen in the midfield, like we spoke about, gelling with that front line of like Diaz, Gakpo, Darwin, Salah. These are some great games coming up. Brentford and Man City are going to be both very difficult games, but with Brentford being at Anfield, maybe that takes a little bit of the edge off the competition threat from Brentford. But by this point in the season, the way City have started off, I don't think they'll welcome this Liverpool fixture maybe quite as much as the Scousers will, because playing Toulouse and Lask, Liverpool are completely rotating their team. They'll be coming in fresh as a daisy for this 6-pointer at the Etihad, and you know, this could really go either way, but I feel Liverpool will come into this probably with momentum and will cause City a real threat. And then as you finish off the Europa League campaign, they've got 3 lovely domestic fixtures here that, you know, they should be able to get positive results in and further affirm their place at the top of the table before they get some interestingly difficult matches over the festive period as the fixture list starts to swing round into a really difficult festive season for Liverpool, as you can see, playing Man United, Arsenal, Newcastle and Chelsea. And then Arsenal again. It's going to be crazy. Now, like we mentioned, if there is a missing piece of the puzzle here for Liverpool at the moment, a lot of people think it's maybe who is the third midfielder that will go into this. And we've spoke about the possibility of the Thiago mould, an extra creative playmaker type who can equally just as well as McAllister and Szoboszlai win the ball, turn it over, and play an accurate ball into the counter-attack. Between Curtis Jones, Gravenberch, Harvey Elliott, I think they've got a couple of candidates that could come in and do that role. So I think if they are going to go out and do anything in January, an out-and-out boss, defensive, ball-winning midfielder to maybe push Endo a bit harder and really make that competition something that can actually influence your best 11. You know, if you've got a ball-winning midfielder of that level, you know, just gives you more options in different fixtures. Is there a need to start the transition in defence? You know, we've seen with Van Dijk, Konate, Matip, Gomez, you know, there's definitely still some work to be done in the defence. There's still a lot of those same names and faces. Is there still a bit of a need for new blood to come in? Particularly at centre-back, you know, because if you're not going to be having a defensive midfielder, then you need centre-backs that are capable of being able to step into play to intercept the ball, as well as they're able to deal with counter-attacks. Because if you're a big counter-attack team and very famous for it, like Liverpool are, a lot of teams are quite happy to think about, well, we'll counter-attack you later on. So being able to deal with that is a big prerequisite. And I think across European football now, there's a lot of great up-and-coming centre defensive talents that could come into that mould. But how far do Liverpool need to push that boat out really at this point? You know, let me know down in the comment section of this one. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I think Liverpool could go on to have a really special season. And because of the, you know, them being in Europa League, they've got Bournemouth in the next round of the Cup as well. I think it's very feasible to think about Liverpool winning a Cup this season. And the way they're going, the way everything else is sitting in the league, because it is the Europa League they'll be playing in and how good their squad is, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool really do have a credible title challenge and do push it all the way. I've got a wee soft spot that thinks Spurs are going to win it. You can probably tell why. I don't think City are that convincing, and outside of that, I'm most excited about Liverpool. On screen now, some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.